What if someone asked you the price of an hour, and you couldn't answer? This is a story of a young boy. In a quiet mountain village, there lived an old calligraphy master named Devraj. His student, a boy named Arjun, had talent. Real talent. But he never finished anything. He started scrolls and left them half-painted. He promised practice and gave excuses instead. He always said the same thing. There is still time. Devraj watched this for 2 years. He did not scold. He did not warn. One morning, he placed a small hourglass on the table. "Sell this in the village," he said. "Bring back what people offer." Arjun shrugged and walked into the square. A potter offered 10 coins. A weaver offered 15. A trader offered 20, calling it a fair antique. Arjun returned and listed the offers. Devraj said nothing. He only nodded. The next morning, he handed Arjun the same hourglass. This time, he said, "Ask them the price of the sand inside it. Not the glass, the sand." Arjun frowned. "The sand is just sand." "Ask anyway," Devraj said. So Arjun went back into the square, and this time the village laughed at him. The potter waved him off without looking up. The weaver called the question foolish. The trader, sharper than the rest, told him to stop wasting people's time with riddles. Arjun's face burned. His feet grew heavy. He had never felt this small in front of people he'd known his whole life. He turned to walk home. He was ready to admit defeat. That was when something stopped him at the edge of the square. A narrow wooden door, half hidden between 2 stalls. He had walked past it for 12 years. He had never once noticed it. Inside sat an old woman. She was hunched over a workbench lined with hourglasses, tall ones, tiny ones, cracked ones waiting to be mended. The room smelled of dust and old wood. She did not look up right away. Arjun stood in the doorway, almost too ashamed to ask again. But something made him whisper the question anyway. "Can you tell me the price of the sand inside this glass?" The old woman set down her tools. She studied his face for a long moment, not with mockery, with something closer to recognition, as if she had asked this question herself long ago. "The glass has a price," she said. 10 coins, 20 coins, whatever a buyer feels generous enough to pay." She turned the hourglass slowly, letting the light catch the falling grains. "But the sand cannot be bought back. Not for any coin in this village, or any village beyond it." She held it up between them. "You can lose a harvest and grow another. You can lose a coin today and earn 2 tomorrow." Her voice dropped lower. "But tell me, boy, once this sand falls to the bottom, can you lift a single grain back to the top?" Arjun stared at the glass. For the first time, he understood the real question. He said nothing. He didn't need to. "That is your answer," she said softly. "There isn't a price, because time doesn't have one. It only has a cost, and that cost is paid either way." She placed the hourglass back in his hands. "Whether you spend it with purpose or let it fall through your fingers while you wait for tomorrow." She paused. Most people only understand this the day they run out. Arjun walked home with the hourglass cold against his palm. Her words repeated with every step he took. He told Devraj everything, word for word. His voice was unsteady, in a way his master had never heard before. Devraj listened without interrupting. When the boy finished, he placed a hand on his shoulder. He returned to his own work. No lecture followed. None was needed. Next morning, before the sun rose, Arjun was already at his desk. He finished the scroll he had abandoned weeks earlier. It wasn't his best work, but it was finished. Finishing felt like something he hadn't earned in a long time. Day by day, the half-painted scrolls grew fewer. He still made mistakes. He still had slow mornings. But he stopped saying those 5 words. He had finally understood there wasn't as much time as he'd believed. We all carry our own unfinished scrolls, the book we haven't opened, the apology we keep postponing, the dream we keep saving for when things settle down. We say it the way Arjun once did, certain that tomorrow will wait. It rarely does. If this story made you pause, even for a moment, share it with someone still waiting for the right time. Hit like if it hit home. Subscribe to the Wisdom Story and turn on notifications. New stories drop every week that could change how you see your own life. What's one thing you're putting off? Tell me in the comments.